aviso de ofertas en Nissan.
No dejes que el carro de tus sueños escape. Ven a Nissan hoy.
El amor será para siempre, pero estas ofertas, no.
Hey, that's it then.
Yes, you.
Let's feel good about it.
Okay, so
Like it.
Alright, so I'm recording on the bed. Ready to start this already. So, hope everyone's having a good night, good day, or good evening. Someone's watching a movie downstairs that you can hear, unfortunately. And I'll probably turn on the fan when I need to. But we're going to read Dreaming of You, a Darkiplier X female reader fanfic. Because I really like the story and I want to continue reading it. And I hope you guys will follow me on this, I don't want to say journey, but you know, fanfic kind of thing. A few people kind of watched it, not really, which kind of sucked. And I don't know why it's still saying connecting to chat. It's a little bit weird. Usually doesn't do that. Okay. Well, anyway, we're gonna get started. Right about now, I just gotta charge my laptop. Okay. Hi, welcome to the live stream. Let's get started. And I just want to clarify or disclaimer. I did not own anything Markiplier did. Who Killed Markiplier in his entire series. But Twitch had warned me. I didn't get a copyright strike, thank God. But they warned me that if I'm using someone's copyright thing or thumbnail, whatever, or I guess music in the background, I will get a copy strike. There's like another warning. So, I don't know. Please let me know if you guys know how to. Okay, I'll be back. Ignore that whole thing. I don't know what that was. It's not a real virus. It's just wanted to pay or something. Anyway, as I was doing. So, I just wanted to clarify. I did not steal anyone's content or nothing like that. I don't even know how you can react to a video like without getting copyright strike. If anyone knows, please let me know because I don't freaking know, man. I don't want my Twitch to get deleted. I mean, terminated too, and it's very annoying. You got pages and stuff like that. So I guess I gotta do with the video games and fanfic reading than the reaction one, unless I fully know how to do it without getting copyright strike. Because I'm not copying anything. I put a disclaimer. I actually did, so I guess that doesn't count. I don't know, man. I was just trying to react to it. That's it. If it was, I don't know, YouTube be different, but it's not. It is also my first time doing Twitch too, so I would have to make another account if it got terminated. And I'm honestly not trying to steal anything or copyright anything. Anyway, hopefully I am getting you guys messages, but as of now I'm not. Okay. I don't know what's going on. It says my computer's infected, which is probably a lie. Okay, let's just ignore that. Probably for money. Gotta check that out later. Sorry, I don't mean to get distracted. Anyway, we're gonna be reading Dream Review, a Darkiplier X female fanfic. It is by Pt.2. It's by someone else. I didn't write this. Should have said that in part one, but it wasn't really a copyright because I'm not the one saying I write it or anything. It was written by someone else, obviously. I don't know. I just really hate copy strikes, so I felt like I needed to address this in case anybody was concerned. Anyway, we're going to do the reading room. And I'm going to let you know once again, I cannot do the voices of the characters, not like Mark or the other actors and actresses. So I'm just going to do my normal voice, and if I need to yell, I guess I'll do that too. But it probably won't be that long. Anyway, let's begin. This is all your fault, Dark shouts at Benjamin. You must have scared her half to death out there. How was I supposed to know you didn't want her here? She's practically all you ever talk about. The butler responds indignantly, crossing his arms. Clearly you have some issues to sort out with her. Dark narrows his eyes at Benjamin. I do not talk about her all the time, he replies with a scowl, and I have nothing to sort out with her because she doesn't even know who I am. That was another yell back. What? Okay. What's going on with my computer? Oh my gosh. What is is happening. I really wish this wasn't interrupting the live stream right now. And I really hate it showing because I really don't want people to know I have a virus, which I clearly don't. Okay, we're just gonna clear all of this. Okay. Sorry about the interruption, because I do not have a virus. I'm pretty positive about that. Hold on a second. I don't mean to do this right now, but this is really bugging me. Like, really bugging me. I'm in the middle of reading a story too. Okay, we're going back to where we left off. I'm 30 minutes in, and Benjamin and Darkiplier are yelling at each other about the girl, which is us. But you know her, don't you? The butler says, his voice a bit quieter. You know Ruth's better than the rest of us, Dark. Ruth is the name we're going by, because I don't really feel like using my name as your name. The Y/N name. I don't know. I just like OC's better than the readers when you like a character like that. It's just how I roll. Anyway, the entity in question looks away and shifts uncomfortably. I don't know this girl, he repeats, his voice flat, but Damien knew the one who came before her. What's a reincarnation? Oh my god. I might have to restart my computer. I don't know what's going on. Son of a bitch. Seriously. I don't want to end the stream right now because then it's going to upload. And I'm trying to get through to this. I really don't. Oh, Jesus. Come on, man. Alright, okay. Oh, I could do intermission this entire time. Why am I so dumb? Oh my god. I can't believe I forgot about that. Showing this the entire time. Oh god, this is so embarrassing. I can't believe I forgot about this part. It's not live scene, it's intermission. I haven't been on Twitch in a while. Very sad. So hopefully you won't see it anymore, and hopefully it doesn't bug me anymore. Cause, all the computer. Anyway, let's get back to it. I want to make this emotional. But you know her, don't you? The butler says, his voice a bit quieter. You know Ruth better than the rest of us, Dark. The entity in question looks away and shifts uncomfortably. I don't know this girl, he repeats, his voice flat. But Damien knew the one who came before her. She's still appearing in your dreams, though, right? Benjamin gives Dark a sympathetic look. Maybe you know her better than you think. It doesn't matter. The demon dismisses, already walking away from the butler. She doesn't know me, and I want things to stay that way. Benjamin tries to object, but Dark silences him with a glare. He knows not to push the man, if only from past experience. How is she? Dark asks Wilfred, who was tending to the passed out girl. She's alright, he answers. Glancing in the living room where the girls laid, when the girls laid, I don't know, it's a grandma or something. Jeez, out on the couch. She'll probably be waking up soon. Eric nods, looking over the unconscious girl. Get her out of here as soon as possible. Wilford frowns. She would probably want some kind of explanation of why. I don't care. The ex-mayor cuts him off sharply. Just get her to leave. Dark, Wilford, he warns. I think that maybe you should reconsider talking to her about. There isn't anything to talk about. Dark says seriously. I want her out of here as soon as she wakes up, and I don't want you to bring her up to me ever again. Wilford gives his old friend a pitying look. You really don't want to talk to her? I never want to see her in this house again. Dark answers with venom in his voice. Yeah, this is Dark now. Definitely. All edgy, closed off, doesn't want anybody around him. But she has to be experiencing the strange dreams too, right? There has to be some kind of connection between her and Wilford trails off, catching the demon's darkening gaze. I know she isn't her, but maybe you could find some peace in knowing that. I'm not gonna yell this out because my parents are like literally watching a movie downstairs and I don't want to be too loud. Enough! Dark shouts loudly. I don't want you to ever speak about this again. Wilford knows how drastically his friend's mood can shift, and how violent he can become when angry. But there's something about the strange girl that makes him feel a little bolder than usual. I just hope that, like, it's a reincarnation thing. Like, I hoped it would be. Wilford and everybody else knows, I guess, why in the scenario, the reader. Because, you know, she's a reincarnation of her friend. Anyway, let's get back to it. You need to stop running away from your problems, Dark, Wilford says evenly. It's only going to make you suffer more than you already are. Dark is actually a bit stunned. His longtime friend usually never backtalks him. Why does Ruth mean so much to him? I'm going to pretend like he didn't say that. Dark says, giving Wilford a cold look. So move out of my way and I'll deal with the girl myself. Wilford looks back and forth between the demon and the strange human girl. He then makes a decision that he knows he'll probably regret later. No, he says firmly, crossing his arms and blocking the other man's path. You aren't going anywhere near her. Dark scoffs incredulously. What did you just say to me? He asked, his voice dangerously calm. I don't know, I feel like he'd probably laugh at that too. I'm not going to stand here and let you hurt her, Wilford says, his tone resolute. What? She's just an innocent girl who doesn't know how fucked up everything around here is. What makes you think I'm going to hurt her? Dark challenges, raising an eyebrow. Wilford seems surprised for a brief moment, but quickly recovers. The expression with a glare. We all know how you get when you're angry, Dark. You don't think straight. You don't think straight. You hurt people. Wilford's voice sounds a bit hurt at the end, as though he knows for his first hand how dangerous his friend could be. Dark doesn't quite know how to respond. Is he really like that? I didn't know. He trails off, his voice much weaker than he liked it to be. I'll take care of the girl, Wilford says gently. putting a hand on Dark's shoulder, and I'll make sure she doesn't bother you again. Dark watches numbly as Wilford walks into the living room. He's still too shocked by the man's words to move. I'm a monster, he thinks to himself. I'm a demon masquerading as a man, and I shouldn't even be here. I'm a danger to my own friends. No wonder everyone's afraid of me. That's just sad, man. I mean, I thought it would have been like a combat because Wolford's kind of the same. He just doesn't get angry, but you know, he's a little cuckoo. Okay. I'm gonna be right back real quick. Just real quick. And when I come back, we're gonna continue the story. I'm back, and I am going to read about two or three more chapters. We'll see how everything goes. Okay, so that was chapter 5, I believe. And chapter 5 is called Monsters. Chapter 6 is called Subs and Seductive Strangers. I do not know why, but alright. But that's Seductive Strangers. I have an intense headache when I wake up. Did I hit my head or something? I slowly open my eye. Used to see I'm lying down on the cold couch, on an old couch, in one of the manor's many rooms. No one else is in this room. Did I imagine the butler? I gingerly sit up, trying to ignore my pounding headache. The storm seems to have cleared up a bit outside, but the heavy cloud cover has masked the house in a dark shadow. There aren't any lights on. I stand up cautiously, looking out for any more inanimate objects that might decide to attack me when everything seems fairly normal. I walk out into the foyer where the front door is. There's no sense in leaving out the back door now. I suppose the heavy wooden coat is hung up on an old-fashioned coat rack, so I grabbed it on my way out. As much as I like to stick around and figure out what the hell just happened to me, I should probably get back to my apartment before Amy realizes I've been gone all day without telling her. I really wish the roommate was named Amy, because there's actually a chick named Amy in Markiplier's life. So I wonder how that's gonna play out in the story if they actually wrote about it. If not, I guess there's just one Amy in the story. Before I head out the door, I check my phone to see how much time has passed. It's nearly an hour. It's nearly 4. I leave the possibly haunted mansion without any further incident. The gate is still halfway open, so I slip through it and back onto the sidewalk in front of the property. It's a good 5 miles back to my apartment, so I better start walking now. Considering how it's almost dinner time anyways, I decided to stop a couple of miles from my home to get some food. My roommate and I don't usually eat meals together, so she probably won't mind that I'm getting dinner without her. I wouldn't call Amy a close friend of mine exactly. She's more of an acquaintance than anything else, really. When I got my apartment, I quickly realized that I couldn't afford to pay the monthly bills by myself. I put an ad online for a roommate, and she responded to it within a week. We split the cost of the bills, now which makes things easier on both of us. Amy works at a local college teaching poetry classes on Mondays and Wednesdays. She works the night shift at a diner on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and on Fridays she gets art lessons downtown. On the weekends she helps businesses create online advertisements and even edits short videos for them. Yeah, it's probably the Amy Mark is dating. Dang, that girl works a lot. Jeez. Because of how busy she is, I hardly ever get to see her. I stopped to get some food at Subway. I usually don't eat subs, but I'm not in the mood to wait at a sit-down restaurant, and there aren't very many other fast food places where I live. Once I get my sub, I continue my walk back to my apartment. My cleaves, I don't know what the fuck. My calves are killing me. By the time I make to the front steps of the building, I pull out my key and open the main building's door. I don't know why I'm stuttering. I shouldn't be. Struggling to cradle my sub in one other arm. In my other arm, I walk into the main hallway and nudge the door shut behind me with my shoulder. Since I live on the third floor of my building, and the elevator seems to always be broken, I have to take the stairs. Once I finally get to my apartment, I feel exhausted. It feels like she was like walking all the stairs. Jeez. I have hazardly take off the heavy woolen coat and toss it on the back of the kitchen chair and set my sub on the kitchen table. I check my phone for messages, but don't see any. Looking down at my still bandaged arms, I realize that I should probably unwrap them and put actual band-aids on them. My stomach growls at the sight of uneaten food, but I ignore my hunger for the time being and tromp into one small bathroom my apartment has. Into one small bathroom my apartment has. The cuts don't look too bad, so I only put bandages on the deeper ones. Hopefully they won't leave any scars. Ruth? I hear someone say from the room. Yeah, Amy? I respond, walking out of the bathroom. Did you just get back? She says, stepping out her bedroom and into the hallway. Yeah, I reply, not so discreetly, hiding my arms behind my back. I didn't mean to stay out for so long. She nods. Yeah, you've been out all day? It's a nice day for a walk, I say vaguely. It was raining most of the day, she reminds me, her eyes narrowing a fraction. Is everything alright, Ruth? Yeah, totally. I answered a bit too quickly. Everything's great. She doesn't look convinced, but doesn't question me any further. I follow her into our tiny kitchen. Have you eaten yet? I asked, feeling slightly bad for not bringing her something as well. She looks at the food I brought back with me and waves a hand dismissively. No, but I'm going out with someone tonight, so don't worry about it. This piques my interest. Oh, who is it? Amy has been single for as long as I know her, which admittedly has only been 4-5 months. But still, it's not like that, she says, rolling her eyes at me. He's just a friend I met through online work I do. So he might be a catfisher? I say, smirking a bit. No, she says in exasperated tone. I video called him before, so I know what he looks like. Oh, I reply, a bit disappointed. What's his name? Mark. See, I knew this was the Amy. But why are we roommates with her? And they were roommates. She responds. She grabs her keys off the kitchen counter along with her purse. He's meeting me downtown at 7 for dinner. I don't want to be late. I nod. Right. I trailed off considering something. Do you know what his last name is? I asked, averting my gaze slightly. She furrows her eyebrows at me, confused. Well, now that you mention it, I don't think he told me. Do you know him? Oh, no. Probably not. Mark's a really common name anyways, I say dismissively. Have fun on your not date. I gave her a week. Amy rolls her eyes at me again and walks to the door. Enjoy yourself, Ruth. Maybe one of these days you'll find someone to go on not date with. Maybe you'll find someone one of these days. Maybe one of these days you'll find someone to go on not dates with. I grin. I highly doubt that, but miracles happen every day. Amy laughs as she walks out into the hallway. If I'm not back by 11, call the cops. Will do. I reply, unwrapping my sub. It would really suck if you got brutally murdered. Yeah, guess you wouldn't have someone to help you pay the bills anymore, she says jokingly, shutting the door behind her. I chuckle to myself as I take a bite of my food. Only Amy could make jokes about online dating horror stories. She's the only person I ever know to completely unfazed by all the news reports of dates gone wrong and pretty young women being murdered by creeps. Sometimes I wish I could be a lot more like her, just so I can look danger in the face and not give a damn. Okay, I should not do this. I'm gonna be right back because I have to do something important. Just real quick. It should not take that long. Now we are on chapter 7, Old Papers. So I think I'll do chapter 8, then chapter 9. If I get too tired though, I probably won't do another chapter. Anyway. Put that a little lower. Okay. Sir, I fear that you may be dissociating. Benjamin walks into Dark's bedroom, a frown attached across his features. Perhaps you should go for a walk. What are you, my mother? The former mayor responds dryly. I'm perfectly fine on my own. Thank you very much. The butler gives Dark a pained look. Goldford is requesting your presence in his study. I'm afraid, should I tell him that now isn't a good time? Okay. The butler, I already read that. Shit. Dark takes his gaze away from the ceiling and cuts a sharp look at Benjamin. Damn. There will never be a good time to talk to him, boy. Whatever he has to say, I might as well hear it. And there's some deep stuff going on. I like it. The butler watches worriedly as Dark gets off of his bed and starts toward the doorway. Starts walking towards the doorway, I should say that. The aforementioned man had spent the past half day lying on his bed, staring blankly at the ceiling. Benjamin didn't know what Wilford had said to him before the girl left, but it had left Dark in a sour mood for the rest of the day. I'm sure he'll understand if you aren't up to it. Benjamin starts showing off after Dark down the hallway. Okay. Dark stops mid-set. Don't you have... Okay, this is a weird sentence. Don't you something else to do around here besides bothering me? Don't you have something else to do other than bother me? Or don't you have something else to be doing around here besides bothering me? You could type down those words. He says coldly, not sparing a glance at the butler. Benjamin frowns and says nothing. Leave me alone and stop following me around like a lost puppy, Dark says before continuing down the corridor. The butler sighs and thinks back at the time when things were different, when Dark was someone else, when everyone was still alive. He had vainly hoped that Root would be enough to get the former mayor back to his old self. He thought that there might have still been some hope left for the broken man. Now, though, he wasn't sure. It's kind of bittersweet, to be honest. Dark approaches Wilford's study, a general sense of disgust. There was no telling what the crazy man could be up to. You wanted to talk? Dark says, entering the old office. Wilford looks up from some documents, a bit surprised to see that the demon actually responded to his quest. Oh, I didn't know if Benjamin would actually tell you, or he trails off, seeing Dark's annoyed expression. Yeah. Sorry, I thought maybe you might want to look at some more papers I found. Okay, Dark wasn't expecting Wilford to say that. What kind of papers? He asked, genuinely curious. I think they may have belonged to Mark. Wilford answers hesitantly. He picks one up and holds it out. Take a look if you want. Dark walks over to Wilford's desk and grabs an old document from him. It looks like they accidentally typed like twice, but that's okay. An old bank transaction. What is this? He asked, looking at the large amounts of money that were taken out of the bank. It looks like he was taking significant withdrawals out of the bank. Wilford answers, looking over some more papers, but I'm not sure why. Dark examines the document closely. He says, reading the date the paper had been signed on. This looks like it was withdrawn right around the time he invited us all over to play poker. Wilford looks up from the other documents. Perhaps he was making renovations on the manor? Dark shakes his head skeptical. Why though? This place was fairly new back then, and those were pretty large withdrawals even for someone like Mark. What else would he have been doing with the money then? Wilford questions, quirking an eyebrow. I'm not sure, Dark replies to the side, but maybe you can try and find more documents. I'll look some over too, and see if I can get more information. Wilford nods. Okay, yeah, here. He hands Dark a small stack of papers. These are all bank transactions that took place around the same time as that other one. Maybe he wrote some notes on them or something. Dark takes the papers and starts towards the door. Wilford paused his task for a brief moment and cleared his throat. Sorry about earlier, by the way. I know it wasn't my place to say those things. It's fine. Dark interrupts a bit too briskly. Let's just forget about it. Forget all about. Oh my god. Let's just forget about all that. All right. Let's just forget about all that. All right. I don't know if it's just me, but sometimes I can't even understand this writing. Wilford frowned, knowing that his friend is going to start ignoring his problems again. Yeah, okay. He replies because what else could he say? What else can he say? Wilford could. Okay. I'll let you know if I find anything, Dark says. Is walking back into the hallway. As would I, Wilford responds a bit disappointedly. He watches Dark head back to the direction of his room. At least this would give him something to do. Wilford thinks to himself, maybe he's finally able to get his mind off the roof. Okay, so I did say chapter 7 was all papers. So we are going to chapter 8. It is called Sleepless Nights. It's a little bit long, but not too much. Okay, it's been an hour and a minute. Amy returns unscathed from her not date around 10. I glance over at her from the living room sofa as she sets down her purse and car keys. How'd it go? I asked, pausing the show I was watching on Netflix. Pretty well, she responds. He wants me to work on some big project for him. She takes a Coca-Cola out of the shared refrigerator and walks over to me. He's also offering a fairly large sum of money for me to do it. You think it's legit? I inquire, raising an eyebrow at her. She plops down next to me. Yeah, I think so. She shrugs half-heartedly. He just wants me to edit some promotional video for his company. It doesn't seem sketchy or anything. I nod slowly. And what is this company exactly? It's some fancy law firm. She replies non-committally. He's like the tip top of the company. I say, I'm pausing the TV show. Sounds like you got a busy week ahead of you then. Amy nods tiredly and taking a sip of her Coke. I feel like I never get a break anymore. Yeah, I agree, feeling a bit guilty. I don't even have to go into my job half the time. Working online is nice, but sometimes I forget how tiring it must be to have a job that requires one to actually leave the comfort of their home. Amy probably hates me for it, and I couldn't exactly blame her either. She does way more work than I do, and as of late, she's been paying the majority of our rent and expenses. I think I'm going to bed, I say, getting up from the sofa. I have to visit my parents tomorrow, so I'll have to get up earlier than usual. You still visit your parents? Don't you? I resort rolling my eyes at her. Amy scowls and crosses her arms. My parents are divorced, Ruth. I haven't seen my father since high school graduation. And my mother's had her face in a bottle for so long as I can remember. Oh, I respond, not quite knowing what else to say. She never talked about her family with me. Don't give me that look, she says, her expression softening. I don't want your pity. I didn't mean to. I shake my head. Anyways, I have to leave early tomorrow, so don't be surprised if you hear my alarm go off at 4. Amy does feel like an acquaintance. I kind of wish we were close friends with her. Amy in real life seems pretty nice. I just hope it's not one of those don't judge a book by its cover, because, it look nice or something like that. Amy nods thankfully to get off the subject of her parents. I'll be here pretty much all day, so just call if needing. I smile. Okay, I will. I head down the small hallway that leads to our opposite rooms. Um, usually I wouldn't go to bed until 11 or later, but since I have to get up so early, I figured I should try and get my recommended 6 hours of sleep. After getting ready for the night, I sleep into my bed with my laptop. I check for the last minute work emails or other important messages. When I don't find any, I turn off my computer, sit it down on my bedside table. Hopefully I'll sleep well tonight. Though I usually don't. I really don't want to have to deal with any mysterious and possibly dead guys in my dream. Gosh, that's a lot of reading. Alright. The dream starts differently this time. I'm standing in my own bedroom, looking outside the single window above my nightstand. It's dark outside, and all I can see is pitch blackness. No street lights. I can't quite figure out what I'm trying to see in the darkness, but I continue to look out the window. Like with most of my dreams, I'm only partially in control of them. I know that I'm in a dream and that none of this is actually happening, but it's like I'm outside of my body or something. I can't exactly control all of my movements, so I can't will my dream body to look away from the window. I'm just gonna say, so I can't get my dream body to look away from the window. After a few seconds, or maybe minutes, I turn around to face the rest of my bedroom. Everything looks the same as it does in real life. Nothing seems to be out of the ordinary. A dream version of me walks over to my bedroom door, which is closed. This is actually odd, because normally I leave my bedroom door open at night. I slowly open it, as if I'm expecting something to jump out at me. The hallway seems dark, endless in this dream. Strangely enough, I can't even make out Amy's room, which should be directly in front of me. I guess this is where the dream part comes in. The dream version of me walks down the hallway towards where the kitchen should be. Since this is a dream, though, the corridor seems endless, and the kitchen is nowhere in sight. I continue on through the never-ending blackness. My dream self eventually stops at the mirror. Wait, a mirror? Since when did I own a mirror at the end of my hallway? Dream me examines myself in it. Perhaps it's because of the dream aspect, or maybe it's caused by something else. But for whatever the reason, my reflection looks blurry and disordered in the otherwise clear glass. My dream self starts mouthing words that I don't recognize, and the mirror begins to rattle off the hook it's hanging from. I continue to mouth silent words, eventually reach out to touch the glass. It's you, isn't it? Not me, whispers. Fingers slide across the mirror. After all this time, I finally found you again. Found who? What am I saying? The mirror seems to rumble in response to my words, or the dream girl's words, because this clearly isn't me anymore. What the? I start, seemingly regain control of my dream body. The mirror continues to rumble more violently now. Abruptly, there's a loud cracking sound, and I'm knocked backwards by some invisible force. Ouch, I mutter to myself, surprised at how vividly I can feel the pain. Despite this only being a dream, I sit up slowly, my head throbbing. The mirror is cracked directly down its center, and I no longer see my reflection in it. As I stand up to get a better look at it, my blood runs cold. No, I say almost inaudibly. No, this can't be. The mysterious man that has been plaguing my dreams for the past 4 months. looks back at me through the cracked mirror. But for some reason, he looks more aware this time, like he knows what's going on. Who are you? I asked, stepping forward cautiously. Why do you keep showing up in my dreams? The man doesn't respond, though I didn't really expect him to. He instead gives me an angry look, like I said something very insulting about him. Listen, whoever the hell you are, I'm just as upset about this as you are. It's not like I want my dreams to be interrupted by your stupid face every night. I say, scowling at him. He must hear me because I see his glare lessen slightly. I at least like to know your name. I continue. If you're going to continue to bother me like this. The man almost cracks a grin. Almost. Are you just going to stand there and stare at me, or? The man shakes his head at me as though he's mildly annoyed or maybe amused. It's hard for me to tell. I know you can hear me. I say, crossing my arms indignantly. It's rude to not respond when someone's talking to you, you know. The mirror makes all sound coming from the other side a bit disordered, but I swear I hear the man laugh at me, and I have to admit, it's kind of cute. Please, I say, trying to different tactic. I'll tell you my name, I offer. It's Ruth. The man nods in acknowledgement. I said it right. But there's something in his dark gaze that tells me he already knew that. I'm not sure how, though, and that scares me a little. What about you? I press on, deteriorated. I've given you my name, so I think it's only fair that you tell me yours. The man seems to debate whether or not he should tell me, but eventually he relents. People call me Dark. He finally responds in a deep voice. Dark? I repeat, a bit skeptical. Is that your real name? You said you wanted mine. You said you wanted a name. You didn't specify if it had to be real or not. Dark answers, a smirk finding its way on his annoyingly attractive face. That's cute. It's actually really cute. I roll my eyes at him and groan exasperately. Fine. I approach the mirror and put my hand up against the shattered glass. Are you stuck in there or something? Dark ponders something that shakes his head. I don't think so, he replies vaguely. I'm assuming you're also asleep right now. Your assumption would be correct, I answered, sighing a bit. Although, I'll probably wake up in the morning feeling like I haven't gotten any sleep at all. Dark chuckles a little, and the sound reminds me of something warm and kind. Yeah, can't say I'm too keen on dealing with your presence every night either. Hey, I say, frowning at him. You don't have to be rude. Dark gives me a look. You said my face is stupid. He didn't say that. He reminds me, I think that's rude. I blush in spite of myself, and if only he knew what other things I was thinking about his face. Did I say that? I asked, trying to sound nonchalant. Yes, Dark depends. You certainly did. Oh, I replied, grinning unabashedly. Sorry then. He just rolls his punk's eyes at me and walks closer to the side of the mirror. It's weird. Normally there aren't any visible barriers between us in these dreams. I know, I'm noticing with clothing for the first time. It looks like he's wearing an old-fashioned suit. Your outfit is severely outdated, I say, pointing at it. You might want to try shopping somewhere else. Damn. Girl, the butter asking you got the suit, but asking like how old he is, just straight up roast him. Oh no, Dark gives me an unreadable look and puts his hand up to his side of the glass. He doesn't have some snarky comment like I thought he might, but he does say, I've never been able to actually communicate with you in the streams until now. Oh no, it's getting too adorable. This is why I wish freaking Damien and Darkiplier are in love with the district attorney. Same, I respond, eyeing how much bigger his hand is compared to my own. This is all so weird. A small part of me wants to know what it would feel like to actually be able to touch Dark's hand without some barrier between us. Do you have any idea what that might be? Is it strange for me to be thinking these things about a person I only just met? Dark shrugs, his gaze falling to our separate hands. I've been trying to figure that out myself, actually. Maybe we should try to find each other in the real world. I suggest as intently. I noticed Narks. God, oh, bless you, Lord. I noticed Dark's gaze shoot up at my words, and there's something water in his eyes. Maybe this is fate telling us to find each other. I had as a joke, trying to lighten up the certainly tense situation. That would be really crazy, wouldn't it? Dark laughs, but it doesn't quite reach his eyes. I guess you would say this? Yeah, totally insane. I forced out something close to a laugh. I mean, you probably don't even live in the same state as me. I rubbed the back of my neck uncomfortably. We probably aren't even in the same country. Dark's expression stays serious despite my attempts to relieve the situation tension between us. He looks like he wants to say something, but can't quite exactly figure out how to say it. I think maybe I should wake up now. He eventually says, backing away from the side of the mirror, letting his hand fall back to his side. You probably want to get some actual sleep tonight, I'm sure. I'm slightly thrown off by how soundly guarded he is. I wonder if I said something wrong. Listen, Dark, I was only joking about us meeting up. It's fine, he says, putting me off with a dismissive way. Maybe now that we officially met each other, we'll stop having these weird encounters. Somehow I doubt that. But I decide it's probably best not to comment on it. Maybe. I respond naturally. Oh, wait. Neutrally? I thought it was just gonna be neutral. Okay. My bad. Sorry to be such a bother to you, Dark says jokingly, though his gaze seems weighted and serious. I'll try not to disrupt your dreams again. I wanted to tell him it's fine if he does, but realized that probably isn't the truth. All this time I just wanted to get out of my head, right? But now that I met him and he's agreed to leave my dreams alone, though I'm somehow a bit disappointed. Same here, I reply, trying to force a smile into my face. He walks away from the mirror, not saying goodbye. I watch as he disappears into what seems like nothing, and eventually realize that I should try and wake up as well. There's no way I'm going to have a decent night's sleep after all that. I don't know why my heart feels a bit heavy as I wake up to my alarm going off. I don't know why it feels like there's a part of me missing all of a sudden. I want to get rid of the mysterious man, but now that I have, I can't help but feel a bit sad. It just seems like there was more to him than what he told me. Like our chance meetings were more than just a chance. I guess I'll never know for sure. Now, though, if he ever shows up in my dreams again, that is. It's so cute. It's been an hour and 19 minutes. I think I'll end the stream at chapter 10. I am reading chapter 9 called Reflecting. And I am enjoying the hell out of the book. For real. Like, it's just So great. I love it so much. I still hope you guys can hear me. It's not full blast fan. It's really hot at the house. You know. Dark awakens with a start. Awakens with a start. What does that mean? He's a bit surprised to feel tears running down his face, and his throat feels sore, like he might have been screaming. Oh, why is it so bittersweet? No, that doesn't seem right. He distinctly remembers how his dream was once again interrupted by Ruth, and how eager he was to get away from her. He wasn't exactly sad about it, though, and he didn't even raise his voice at her. So, why was he so upset upon awakening? As Dark sits up in his bed, he considers one strange element of the dream. Before the strange sound barrier between them and Ruth was broken, something weird happened. The girl was saying words, or at least it looked like she was saying something, but they oddly didn't seem like they were for him. She clearly couldn't see him until the mirror cracked, so who was she talking to? Dark lets out an exhausted sigh, and decides that he may as well get up. Since he technically isn't alive, he doesn't actually need sleep, it's more of an old habit. It seems to pass the long nights well, or at least it did, before Rich started showing up in his dreams. Dark doesn't bother with checking the time. He knows it isn't quite dawn yet. Wilford was probably still at work in his study, and Benjamin was most likely still asleep in the guest quarters. The ex-mayor sighs. Sometimes the mansion seemed lonely, so empty. He longed to go back to a time where things were better, where all his friends were still alive. Dark lets out a humorous little laugh. No, he thinks to himself, not all of those people were my friends. He did look over the documents Wilford gave to him, but couldn't find anything of significance in the bank statements. Mark had been a crafty man, and if there was anything he might have wanted to keep hidden, he would have known the best way to do so. It didn't really make any sense to Dark, though. What would the late millionaire spend so much money on when he was planning on doing what he did? If Mark knew he wasn't going to be around for much longer, why would he bother with spending so much money on the stuff that presumably didn't make much of a difference in the end, unless he was making some plan? Dark feels a twinkle of anger, thinking back to how poor excuse for a human being tried to take his body and use it to get away with framing his friends for murder. The man deserved whatever hell he was put through in that in-between world. Then again, Dark wasn't exactly innocent either. Perhaps his actions were more justified at the time, but he still felt slightly guilty for what he had to do to get out of the in-between space. When he had Celine, the place he had... Wait. Okay. The sentence doesn't make sense again. Dark feels a twinkle of anger, thinking about how poor excuse for a human being tried to take over his body and use it to get away from framing his friends for murder. The man deserved whatever hell he was put through in that in-between world. Then again, Dark wasn't exactly innocent either. Perhaps his actions were more justified at the time, but he still felt slightly guilty for what he had to do to get out of the in-between space he and Celine were trapped in. Okay, the sentence makes sense, it's just I was stuttering. At least I think so. He couldn't even call this body his own, could he? The body of Damien was long gone, and now the shell of the man was left in its place. Despite Dark retaining some of his predecessor's memories, they were not the same person. Maybe a part of the mayor still resides somewhere deep down inside of the demon, but Dark was certain that the original Damien had been dead for nearly 70 years now. 70 years, you say? No one ever told me. I asked everyone. No one told me what year Who Killed Markiplier took place in. Now I got confirmation 70 years. So it's possibly the 30s or 40s. At least I hope so. And some days Dark thought, as he wandered the empty mansion's many hallways, he envied Damien. The man had been known for his generous nature, his kind eyes, his good heart. The mayor was loved by virtually everyone, and he had countless friends with an easygoing personality and compassionate demeanor. It was hard to not like him. Dark supposed he picked up some of the mayor's personality traits over the years, but there seemed to be his negative ones. It was actually kind of funny, in a twisted sort of way. Everything that people had loved Damien for, Dark had copied and made into something less than desirable. At first, the Damien had used the mayor's position to his advantage. People trusted Damien. They confided in him. They believed his words. They believed he cared about them. Over time, Dark had tried to correct Damien's mistake. Damien thought every person had a right to make their own choices in life. He believed his friends when they told him pretty lies, and he let them entangle him in their messes. His friends were the cause of his demise in the end. Dark thought bitterly. Mark ultimately took away Damien's life, and the man was forced by Selene to making a deal with the devil. He lost everything in the end, even himself. Dark corrected this by not making the mistake of trusting other people's Dark corrected this by not making the mistake of trusting other people's actions. He refused to be pushed around. He refused to be mocked and ridiculed. Oh my god, I can't say it. Ridicule. Probably not saying it right, but ridicule. Like, he's not gonna be put down. Okay. Damien let his guard down, and people took advantage of him. He trusted too much. He loved it too hard. When his friends betrayed him and the loved ones broke his heart, he couldn't take it anymore. He was overcome with rage and hate and bitterness. He was obsessed with getting his revenge on Martha. He failed to realize how much of himself he was losing in the process. Dark refused to ever let himself become that out of control. He never wanted to face that kind of humiliation and betrayal ever again. Who needs choice anyways, he thinks to himself. Having a choice only gets people hurt. It only causes grief in the end. Perhaps he shouldn't feel guilty for trapping Roof in the mirror all those years ago. He was only saving himself from grief after all. If he couldn't make choices for himself in life, then why should anyone else? Oh, no. That's a dark twist. But it does make sense. It's basically it's a main headcanon. The little headcanon is that he did it to save the district attorney because he cares about them or he loves them. but the actual canon is he did it to save himself, which makes a lot of sense actually. Okay, one more chapter. And as I said before, actually, let's do chapter 11 too. I'm kind of feeling it. So, as said before, there is 85 chapters in this book. 85. And we are on chapter 10. So I don't know how many parts it's going to be, but it's going to be a lot of parts. And hopefully I can record this during the day so we can get it faster. Because, like, you know, there's a lot. Like, a lot. Like, I don't know. It was probably May 2017. It didn't end it recently. But this girl has so much on her plate. She wrote 85 chapters. 85? That's really crazy. Chapter 10. Coffee and Curious Encounters. Amy is still asleep when I leave her apartment. She usually sleeps on the weekend, but I left some coffee in the pot for her just in case. Since the autumn weather is getting progressively colder, I decided to take the coat I found in Darkiplier Manor. It's surprisingly warm and comfortable. I also make sure to grab my phone on my way out as well. I don't particularly like driving, so I figured it would just be easier to take a public transport to my parents' house. I don't like public driving either, girl. They live upstate a good 3 hours away. I haven't been able to visit them since I got my new apartment, so I'm sure they'll be happy to see me. The bus ride to the small town my parents live in is rather boring. I pass the time by playing games on my phone and listening to music. Thoughts from the previous night fill my mind, and I push them away from the time being. Today's about family, not some mysterious man who may or may not be dead. Eventually, the bus stops a few blocks away from my parents' subdivision. I paid my expenses for taking the bus and thanked the driver as I got out. It's nearly 9 in the morning now, so hopefully my mother will be up when I get there. Not many stores or restaurants are open quite yet, considering how this is a small town that doesn't see a lot of outside business habitably. Okay? I really want to stop at Starbucks to get another shot of caffeine to help me wake up, but I resisted the urge to continue onward. My parents live in an old people neighborhood. Its average resident is above the age of 65. I'm fairly certain my parents are the youngest there. Actually, with my mom capping in at the ripe and young age of 67, and my dad at 70. Jesus, girl, what is the how do you? In the story, the reader's in her 20s, and her mom's 67, and her dad's 70. Makes you wonder, when did they have her to be born? Because I know, like, menopause kicks in around a woman's 40s, 50s, and they couldn't have her around that time, so it had to be when the mom was in her 30s. It's really weird, man. I immediately know their house when I see it. Most of the houses are similar, making different What is that word? Then tricky, but my parents' house is painted in obnoxious bright yellow color, where the rest of the houses are colored in more neutral tones. Their morning paper is still in the driveway, so I guess no one's up yet. I trudged onward, anyways, eager to see my family after being away for 5 months. Sorry about that. I rang the front doorbell and wait for a response. After a few minutes without one, I decided to knock on the door. Maybe the doorbell's broken. A minute or later, someone opens the door. Someone that isn't my mom or dad. Hello? A middle-aged woman says, looking perplexed. You have the wrong house number or something? Are you alright? The woman asks, giving me a concerned look. Are you lost? I shake my head, still having to process what's happening. That my parents live here. I say, hey, though it sounds more like a question. The woman furrows her eyebrows at me. Oh, what were their names? Mr. and Mrs. Kobayashi? I answered hesitantly. Did they move out or something? The woman ponders this for a moment and says, I don't think so. The previous owners of this place had a different last name. Couldn't think of it. I never heard of that name before. Are you sure you've got the right neighborhood, miss? Or would it make sense if the district attorney had the same name? If the district attorney would have a name and it was a woman, I figured Dorothy would fit best. But in reincarnation, Ruth. Because, I don't know, when you're reincarnated, you don't have the same last name. You don't have the same first name. That's just a thing. But apparently in this fanfiction, you do. Which does not make any sense. Well, I thought so. I answered a bit embarrassed. The woman gives me a significant look. Maybe you should call them and ask. Yeah, I replied, though I quickly realized I can't. Sorry to bother you. I say, giving a little nervous laugh. Thanks for your help. The woman gives me a tight-lipped smile. Sure thing. She waves goodbye and shuts the door in my face. Shuts the door in your face. You know you were being nice. This is not a nice neighborhood, man. It's not. It's just not. For a little bit. Oh. Okay. I should not be laying down like this. Oh my gosh. Okay. Cheers. Alright. As soon as it closes, I let out a choked sob. Something is wrong. Very wrong. I know my parents live here. I know they did. They told me exactly where they were going to move to after I got my apartment. I know it is correct division. It has to be. I checked my phone though and realized that I can't even call to ask them. For some reason I never got either of their numbers in my contact list. But really though, I never thought about that until now. How do you not have your parents as your contact number? Girl, what? Okay, I got a lot of questions. This story does not make sense with a personal life. The romance is good. It's good. It's not perfection, but it's good. It's getting there. First, some weird guy starts showing up in my dreams. Now my parents are missing. What's my life become? Deciding that there's no point in waiting around in an old people neighborhood, I make my way back downtown. I might as well make the best of things and get a coffee at Starbucks. Maybe some townspeople there will know something that I clearly do not. The small cafe is pretty packed, seeing that it's almost lunchtime when I get there. I have to wait in line for at least 10 minutes before I get waited on. Hello, miss. What would you like? Says a familiar voice. I look down from the menu to see someone I used to know in high school with. Ethan, I exclaimed, happy to recognize somebody. It's been a while. He gives me a weird look. Um, has it? He laughs a little uncomfortably at me. Sorry, do I know you? I flashed. Yeah. We went to high school together, don't you remember? He continues to look at me as though I'm a crazy person. Not really. It was like 5 years ago, though. Maybe I just don't recognize you. He says, trying to give me the benefit of the doubt. What's your name? Ruth, I replied, looking at him hopefully. You were in my math class senior year. We were study buddies. Ethan continues to look at me like I'm a complete stranger. Yeah, no, I don't think I know you. Maybe you're just confusing me with someone else. I finally shake my head. No, I'm sure we went to high school together. Are you sure you don't remember me? Ethan shrugged. I don't think so. I started giving up. Okay, yeah, maybe you're right then. I pinched the bridge of my nose, calming down my oncoming headaches. Sorry for wasting your time. I'll just get a plain coffee, please. Ethan looks like he wants to say something more, but puts in my order and tells me the amount for it. I silently give him the money and walk dejectedly to the table in the corner to wait for my coffee. What's going on? Why does Ethan not remember me? Where are my parents? Nothing makes sense. I need to find some answers. After staring blankly at the table in front of me for some time, someone brings me my coffee. Ruth? A female voice says, handing me a drink. Yeah, that's me. I reply, grabbing the hot coffee. Thanks, I say without looking up. I drink my coffee in silence. My mind races the possibility of what could have happened to my parents, of why no one here seems to remember me. I know I'm missing something, but what is it? I think back to the odd conversation I had with the butler at the manor. If he was in fact real, and not just a fragment of my imagination, then perhaps there was something to his words worth taking note of. He acted like he knew me somehow, but I'm certain I'd never seen him before in my life. What was it that he said before I fainted? I recall hearing another voice before I passed out, but it doesn't sound familiar. But there was something the unfamiliar person said that intrigued me. He mentioned another person's name, I think. I was out of it, but then that I couldn't pay much attention to what it was. But now I stared down at the empty coffee cup, wishing I could remember what the name was. If only I could think. If only I could touch the butler guy again. Maybe he'd have some answers. Maybe he somehow connects to the weird dreams I've been having. Maybe they all are. Wait, that's it. The name that Benjamin and the other guy mentioned, I do know it. It was dark, wasn't it? That's the name they mentioned. But that can't be, can it? If the butler and the other strange man I never actually saw or knew him, then that means maybe it's just a coincidence. This can't be possibly all be living there in that abandoned mansion. They can't possibly all be living there in that abandoned mansion, can they? Why would they? How could they? The place was practically falling apart. It was in no shape to be lived in. Then again, with the odd-fashioned butler outfit Benjamin was wearing and the old suit Dark had on in the last stream. Were they dead? Have I been talking to actual ghosts this whole time? Have I been talking to the dead people? I mean, I never actually been able to reach out and touch Dark, so maybe he is some kind of spirit or something. But on the other hand, Benjamin was able to touch my arm, so maybe they aren't dead. And Dark said he wasn't trapped in the mirror, but he never said where he was from. Maybe that's why he didn't want me to know. Maybe they're all trapped in the house. I still don't really get it though. How do they all know me? I've never met any of them before. The weird dreams, my last visit to the manor. This still doesn't make any sense. I get up to throw away my empty coffee and decide my I get up to throw away my empty coffee cup and decide that I might as well head back home. I think another visit to the mansion is due. It's time that I get some answers. Okay, we're on chapter 11, White Roses. It's been an hour and 45 minutes. And, okay. Okay. Let's get a little bit closer here. You know, I said 11 is going to be the last one, but 12 looks a bit interesting. Chapter 12. So, if I'm not too tired, or it's not getting too late, I mean, it's a little late, but whatever. If I'm not too tired, then I'll do the next one. But, right now we're going to be reading chapter 11, White Roses. So, yeah, let's get into it. Time felt different in the mansion. Days felt like weeks or even months. Mere hours seemed like a stretch on like never-ending daylight. Dark is struggling to keep himself occupied. He bruises himself with Mark's bank transactions at first. When that becomes too tedious, he moves out of his bedroom and ventures into the virtually untouched library. He finds some books containing information on the house origins and tries to get a better understanding of the supposed cursed girl under. He isn't able to find much information and eventually gives up. Without keeping his mind preoccupied though, he finds himself thinking of Ruth. Ever since the last dream, he can't get her off his mind. She was more than just some annoyance now. She was more than just some girl. She meant something to him that terrified Dark. He wishes he never told her his name. He wishes he never said anything to her at all. Perhaps the person he used to be would have a different reaction, but Dark felt disgusted by the emotions he was beginning to feel for the girl. In a sudden burst of anger, Dark grabs an object nearest to him and throws it at the wall. It happens to be a vase filled with white roses. Is everything alright? Benjamin says, poking his head into the room. Dark stares down at the broken vase and says nothing. I can clean that up for you if you like, the butler offers, edging into the library. No. Dark finally responds. He looks up at Benjamin. I broke it. I'll clean the mess up. Benjamin looks like he wants to say something, but he just nods and silently leaves the room. Dark returns his gaze to the fallen roses and shattered glass. He stares at the mess for a few seconds before moving to get a broom and dustpan. He disposes the broken vase and pauses as he thought of throwing the roses away. Damien used to give Ruth white roses on her birthday. Oh, my. Oh, no. Oh, shit, that is so sad. Oh, my gosh. And it's so cute and sad. Very bittersweet. Dark sweeps up the cut flowers and throws all but one of them away. Oh my gosh. He knows it's a stupid thing to do, but perhaps Damien would appreciate that, even if Dark's opinions on Ruth were different from his predecessors. He hoped they'd be able to agree on at least one thing about the girl. She was nearly impossible to forget about. this story makes it feel like, I mean, yes, technically Damien and Dark are two different people, but they are the same person at the same time because Dark is both Damien and Celine's bad part of themselves. But if he has Damien's memories, then technically he kind of is Damien a little bit. Okay. Anyway, I have some unsettling news. Wilford announces, stepping into the dining room. Benjamin looks over from a curio cabinet with that same intrigue. Dark conjures up from the novel he was attempting and failing to read. He had never been much of a reader, but today was no exception. So I guess we can cross that off. Again and not true. Dark does not read books, and he cannot finish a book. So I guess that's true. According to this fanfiction, at least. Okay. Let's continue. It's about Mark. Will continues, looking between the demon and the butler nervously. Go on, Dark says, sitting his book down on the dusty dining table. Perhaps we should take this to my study. Wilford suggests, giving Benjamin a wary look. Dark follows the man's gaze and narrows his eyes a fraction. Why? Is it something you wish to keep from our dear friend over here? Benjamin shrinks back into the corner of the room, worried that today might be one of Dark's bad days. Wilford, on the other hand, just glares at the ex-mayor and crosses his arms. No, but I don't think either of you are going to be very happy about what I found. Dark stands up. Wilford, he warns, giving his oldest friend a withering look. Will sighs and slouches a bit, as if suddenly tired. Fine, he says, realizing that he might as well just say it. I was looking at some old newspapers from a couple of decades ago, and I found this. He pulls out a newspaper clipping for Dark and Benjamin to see. What am I looking at? Dark asks, rounding the table and grabbing the paper from Wilford. Who are these people? This was a ribbon-cutting ceremony for a new law firm that was opened back in the 80s, he answers, reading a bit as he talks. And if the man in front of the picture looks familiar to you, that's because it's Mark. Dark feels a harsh, nervous laugh burrow up somewhere deep inside him. He pushes it back and says, No, there's no way that's possible. Mark's dead. Well, I thought that too. But this really looks like him, and the names listed below include his. I'm not sure how he could be pulling something like this off, but it would explain where all the money went. Actually, I'm kind of glad I found this fanfiction because she just explained, the writer, how Mark is alive, like his body. I mean, obviously Mark stole Damien's body, but we didn't know where he was at, and he appears out of nowhere in the 80s in this fanfiction, which does explain more of the YouTube channel and all of that in the series. You know, glad they explain it because it doesn't really explain it that deep into it in Markiplier TV. Yeah, it is very interesting. Well, I thought that too, but this really looks like him, and the names listed below include his. I'm not sure how he could have pulled something like this off, but it would explain where all the money went. Dark scoffs incredulously. So what? He pretends to be dead for 30-some years just so he can open up his own law firm? What's the purpose? Would that serve? 30-some years? 30-some years, sir? Wilford shrugs. I'm not sure. He's obviously planned to get away with murder from the beginning, so maybe this was his way of getting around the curse. Are you sure that's even possible? Dark questions, eyeing the photo carefully. We can't leave, so why would he be able to? Wilford refrains from reminding his old friend of how he can leave, just not for extended periods of time. Even Benjamin could leave the property from time to time. Really, Dark was the only one out of the Rio who couldn't leave the house at all. Yikes, that sucks. I'm not sure about that either, Will says, laying out of breath. None of this makes sense. Okay, so I know this was Wilford Worshaft, but Wilford Worshaft is kind of a madman, and he's known for nonsense. He doesn't really talk about anything making sense or detective work stuff. So it's really weird to hear him say this in a fan fiction, which obviously it's fanon, but I don't know. It's just I like to read about canon stuff or head canons, and it's about the characters, but this is feels a little bit out of character, just a tiny bit. It, the two are silent for a few moments. Benjamin clears his throat. He clears his Benjamin clears his throat loudly and speaks up for the first time since Wilford's announcement. Forgive me for interrupting, but where did Ruth work? Dark frowns, confused by the question. I'm not quite sure. I think Damien knew her because she was the district attorney. Why'd you ask? Benjamin sits for her into the room. Where does this Ruth work? Dark shrugs, still a little bit perplexed by the strange questions. I have no idea. She's never mentioned anything in the dreams about her job. Wilford bites his lip. He knows something Dark doesn't. Something he's not too keen on telling him. What? Dark says, taking a note of the man's notice habit. It's nothing really, Wilford answers, though his voice is a bit strained. I'm sure it's just a coincidence. Dark steps closer, his hands clenching to a fist. He doesn't like being told, not being told. He doesn't like not being told things. Gorsuch. The former mayor hardly used Wilford's surname, but when he did, he usually meant business. When Ruth was passed out in our living room, I saw her purse laying beside her. Naturally curious, I decided to take a look at it. You snoop through someone's personal belongings? Benjamin says, a bit appalled. Dark rolls his eyes at the butler and motions for Wilford to continue. I found a business card in there, he says, not meaning the demon's gaze. I think I might know where Ruth works. Do you still have the card? Her dark eyes raise an eyebrow expectantly. Wilford looks a bit reluctant and pulls out something out of his pocket. He pulls something out of his back pocket. I hate that I'm stuttering right now. I know this seems really bad, Dark, but maybe we're looking at things totally wrong here. The demon ignores his friends and grabs the card a bit forcefully than necessary. He looks at it over quickly and the blood drains from his face as he does so. Dark. Wilford starts, but the man is already out of the room. You already know this won't change anything, he says, straining off after the demon. You couldn't stop him back then, Dark. You can't stop him now either. Dark ignores Wilford and continues to down the hall towards the front of the manor. You know you can't leave. Wilford shouts at him. I understand how you must feel, but you need to be strategic about this. Dark wants to tell Wilford he has no idea what he feels like, but decides not to waste his words when time is running out. Dark! Wilford kept shouting, but the entity was already made up his mind. He couldn't save Ruth from Mark last time. Maybe Dark could stop this new version of her from having to deal with him. That bastard deserved a taste of his own medicine anyways. Dark reaches the door of the manor and is pleased when he finds that he can at least make it outside. When he reaches the front of the gate, the invisible barrier kicks in. At first, it's just a slight stinging sensation, like a faint urge of electricity, When the former mayor tries to open the gate, though, he's met with a searing hot pain that brings him to his knees. As he continues to try to force his way through the curse's barrier, the electrical curtain becomes so harsh that it actually knocks the demon backwards on the cracked pavement behind him. Dark lets out a string and curse words and struggles to get back on his feet. Sir, Benjamin explains, rushing over to him. I told you to be careful, Wolford says, crossing his arms, looking mildly annoyed. Why do you never listen to me? Dark staggers back to his feet, still shaking off the pain. Because you're usually wrong, he mutters bitterly, cradling his throbbing head in his hands. What was the point of being dead if you can still feel pain? Both Will and Benjamin try to talk to Dark as he stomps eagerly past them and back into the mansion. He ignores both of them and silences the butler with a glare when he asks if Dark's alright for the 50th time. I'm going to be in my room, the demon announces from the top of the staircase. Unless there's an emergency, I prefer not to be bothered. Dark had decided he would not repeat the mistakes of Damien. He would not let the cursed house continue to ruin whatever might be left of his life. For once, the demon was happy that he bothered to visit the library earlier in the day. Among the classic novels and encyclopedias, I don't even know how to say this word. He found an old spell book of sorts. He figured that it had probably belonged to Selena at some point, and hoped it would have the specific spell he was looking for. It was a long shot for sure, but it would be the only way for him to see what Mark was up to. He spent a solid 10 minutes convincing himself that he was only doing this for his previous self, that it was only to stop Mark from ruining everything again. It wasn't for the girl. It wasn't because Dark had feelings for her. And that's that entirety now. It was a long shot for sure, but it would be the only way for him to see what Mark was up to. He spent a solid 10 minutes convincing himself that he was only doing this for his previous self, that it was only to stop Mark from ruining everything again. It wasn't for the girl. It wasn't because Dark had feelings for her. Denial. For real denial. The ex-mayor flips through the book of spells rapidly, trying to find the right one. Eventually, he stumbles across the correct one. After reading it over a couple of times, to make sure it's the right one, Dark starts to make his plan. First, he'll need to contact Ruth again via a dream. Then you'll have to somehow convince her to come back to the house. After that, he'll worry about that part when the time comes. He only knows one thing. He has to stop Mark before he tries anything, because there's no way he won't try something. There's no way that this is just a coincidence. The Ruth Damien knew was a district attorney, and this new one is high up at an appropriate law firm. Yeah, this is some kind of irony. It's repeating and all is different. Okay, I like it. Like a lot. Even if Mark doesn't remember Ruth, though, Dark has a sneaking suspicion that he probably does. The demon wasn't... Why am I stuttering? I swear. Probably because it's really late and I'm getting tired. It's already 2 hours and 4 minutes, dude. Even if Mark doesn't remember Ruth, though, Dark has a sneaking suspicion that he probably does. The demon doesn't want to take any chances. Perhaps he was overreacting a bit, but he realized over the years that one could never be careful when it comes to corrupt, manipulated people. I start to set the spellbook down after taking one last look at the set of instructions. He looks over at a single white rose and he puts it in a paramedic vase on his nightstand. He wanted it to be a reminder of sorts. Before learning about Mark, he was supposed to help him move on from Damien's memories, and now in past. Now though, it meant something different. Now it reminded Dark of what goal he had to strive toward. He smiles in spite of himself. Maybe he isn't such a monster after all. Now you I know you care for your name. I know you do. By the way, we're using Ruth as your name. So I don't want to have to be saying your name all the time, or reader. I'm just gonna call the reader Ruth. So, this is going to be the last one, definitely, because I'm probably going to fall asleep soon. And we can go on chapter 13 in the next one, which is going to be part 3. So, the last chapter before we end the stream is chapter 12, Promises. Okay. By the time I get back to my apartment, it's nearly 7 in the evening. I don't see Amy as I enter our small living area, but notice a small post-it note left on the kitchen counter that says, "Went out to get dinner. Might not be back till late." Okay. Great. Guess I'm eating alone tonight. I let out a deep sigh as I rummaged through the kitchen's sparse cupboards. Grocery shopping hadn't been on the top of my list as of late, so I guess I'm stuck with eating ramen again. While I wait for my noodles to cook, I grab my laptop from my bedroom to check if any emails I might have missed while I was gone for the day. Amid junk mail and online coupons, I find one from my boss, Mark. No. What? Wait. Mark's supposed to be a YouTuber, and Ruth is like a law firm. So why is her boss Mark? That was the one she was arguing on the phone in part 1, the early chapters. The fuck? That means Mark is messing with her. He's messing with her head. Oh no. It's already too late. It's already too late. Well, at least she's not playing the game. And you guys know the games with Ice with Markiplier and Space with Markiplier, Date with Markiplier, all that stuff. I will be expecting you in my office tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock sharp to discuss your constant tardiness and time management issues. Please do not try to be on time for once. Wait, what? I will be expecting you in my office tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock sharp to discuss your constant tardiness and time management issues. Please do try to be on time for once, Miss Kobayashi. I am a very busy man. I'm sure you are, Mark. But the real Mark in real life, yeah, I'm pretty sure he's actually busy. I feel my blood begin to boil as I read the email. How dare he? I not have time management issues. Sure, I've been late showing up at meetings every now and again, but not constantly. That man and job in general is starting to get on my nerves. Gotta quit, girl. Gotta quit. I'd quit in a heartbeat if I could afford to, but I just can't. I need the money, even though I hate my job, it pays fairly well enough to pay the rent on this shithole anyways. I shut my laptop and set it aside as I get it a bowl to put my ramen in. I know eating like this isn't exactly healthy, but I just can't bring myself to make anything else. Originally, I wanted to visit the mansion again on my way home, but I figured that it was already getting kind of dark outside. The place was creepy enough in the daytime. There's no way in hell that I go there at night, especially by myself. Can't go tomorrow morning either because of the meeting. So maybe I'll go later on in the day. I'm just gonna say another day. After eating my ramen noodles and washing the dishes, I plopped down the sofa to watch some Netflix. I find some semi-interesting reality show and find myself only half paying attention to it. Eventually, I get tired and start drifting off. I know I shouldn't take a nap now, since they'll probably disrupt my sleep later tonight, but the sofa is comfortable and the TV show is boring. I fall asleep without even meaning to. Dark is there when I open my eyes in the weird dream world. He's standing a few feet from me and seems to have been waiting for my nightly appearance. There is not a visible barrier between us this time. I thought you said this would stop happening. Oh my gosh. I thought you said this would stop happening. I say by way of introduction. I guess I was wrong. He replies, step closer. I need to talk to you. I need to ask you something, if you don't mind. I raise an eyebrow. Depends on what the question is, I guess. Dark looks a little annoyed at my response, but says, perhaps I should explain myself a bit better than I did last night. You said that we probably didn't even live in the same country. Well, what if I told you that we lived in the same town? I could tell him that I already figured out where he lives, but I'm kind of curious to see how much he decides to share with me, to see if I could trust him. You do? I say, trying to sound surprised. He nods, looking a little nervous. Yeah. And you visit the place too. I visit a lot of places. I respond, giving away nothing. You'll have to be more specific. I'm afraid. Dark seems irritated by my nonchalance, and for the first time since I met him, I see nothing unsettling in his eyes. Something just barely contained. Something that I should probably be afraid of, but I'm not. The manner of the edge of town, he explains, his voice taking on an annoyed tone. An annoyed tone. I live in Darkiplier Manor. Well, at least I know that for sure. I know for sure. Now, but that place has been abandoned for decades. I say, continuing to play dumb. There's no way anyone could live there. Dark sighs loudly and pitches the bridge of his nose, as if trying to calm an oncoming headache. Listen, I know this doesn't make much sense, but I need you to listen to me. Something weird's going on, and I think I know who's behind it. You probably have no idea what I'm even talking about, but I need to ask a favor of you. I narrow my eyes at him, hyper aware of how we were only a few feet away from each other now. My mind started drifting off to unnecessary places. I once again wonder what it would be like to reach and touch Mark's slightly gray-toned skin. You're right, none of this makes sense. But what kind of favor do you need me to do? I ask, generally curious. Dark takes in a deep breath and looks away from me. I need you to come back to the mansion, preferably tonight. I stare at him. What? Why? His intense gaze falls back on me, and I think see fear in it. I can't explain that right now. I just need you to trust me on this. Trust you? I repeat a bit incredulously. I barely even know you. He nods. Yes, I understand that, but this is very important. I promise I won't take up very much of your time. It's just imperative that you come as soon as possible. No, I exclaim, crossing my arms, backing away from him slightly. You might try to murder me or something. He gives me a look. Why would I do that? Because I trail off thinking of a good reason. He hasn't exactly ever been threatening in the streets, but he hasn't been able to make any physical contact with me either, with me in them either. I promise that I will not cause you any harm, Dark says, sounding sincere. It's hard for me to explain everything now, but if you come to the mansion, I'll tell you as much as I can. Should I really just do... Why is this sparing myself? Should I really just take his word for it, though? How can I know if I can really trust him? How can I know? I challenge. How can I trust someone I barely even know to meet them at an abandoned house in the middle of the night, not to murder me? Dark laughs a little nervously, cracking the back of his neck. Eric, uncomfortably. Well, when you put it in that way. Yeah, what she does. I begin to turn away, ready to end my nap. Wait! Dark calls out, moving a few steps closer. I'll prove that you can trust me. Ow. Oh, I wish I could do Dark's voice. It makes more sense, but it's so... Oh, okay. He takes another step towards me, so we're only a foot or so apart. His eyes look different up close, I realize. They aren't solid black, but rather a very dark brown color. And his hair is wavier than I originally thought. He's not much taller than I am. Reach out, touch my hand, he says, holding his own out palm up. But I trot off, looking down at his hand. I know, but I want to see if this works. He says, answering my unspoken question. But how would this just try? He interrupts, giving me a look I can't quite read. Please. I shouldn't be so affected by his voice, but he just says it so softly and so gently that I find myself reaching out to touch his hand unconsciously. To my surprise, I manage to actually touch it. What the? His hand feels surprisingly warm, surprisingly alive. Maybe he isn't a ghost. It's so cute. I can't believe that actually worked, Dark says almost to himself. I find myself grinning for some reason. Yeah, me either. He looks down at our touching hands and let's say intertwines, because that's actually what it should say, intertwine. And his fingers with mine. A part of me feels like I should pull away from the sudden intimate gesture, but another part of me doesn't mind it one bit. Girl, I wouldn't mind it either. I never thought I'd be able to. And Charles Oliver shakes his head, a small smile forming the sharp features and glances up at me, a sparkle in his eyes that wasn't there before. This is great, he exclaims, sounding similar to a child on Christmas morning. That is so weird to imagine him saying that. Oh, so cute though. This is really great. I can't help but giggle at his childish reaction. It's actually quite endearing. Dark, I'm not sure that's the reaction most guys have to holding hands with a girl. But hey, you do you, I guess. Mm-mm. I'm drinking water so I can still read without me losing breath. Because it's a lot to read. Oh, yeah, sorry about that. He mutters a little awkwardly. I just, got excited, I guess. He releases my hand from his, but I think I caught his face turning just a few shades better than normal. Oh, that's so cute. Why does this have to do with trusting you? I asked, trying to change the subject and make him feel less uncomfortable. Oh, right. He nods to himself, seems to think over something. Okay, so I can prove that I will not hurt you. Proof. I'm still a little caught off guard when it says my name. It just sounds so natural, so normal, so right. Okay, I reply a bit confused. How? He he pulls it out of his suit coat pocket and hands it to me. A rose? I asked, looking down at the flower. Why are you giving me a flower? Dirk smiled in a secretive sort of way. I can't really explain it right now, but as long as you have this rose, you have my protection. I promise will will okay. I promise that I will let no harm come to you in the matter. I hesitantly take the flower up, still a little unsure. Alright? I laugh a little nervously. You promise you're not some crazy murderer? Dark grins. I swear on my soul that I will not murder you. Should I really trust him? Can I? It sounds like a first date. Well, please. Bert says, his eyes widen with pleading. This is very important to me. I sigh in defeat. I have to get to sleep early tonight, but I have to be somewhere early tomorrow morning, but I'll stop by in there in the afternoon. Bert frowns. It's the best I can do, I say, giving him a tired look. He nods understandingly. Okay, yeah, that'll work, I suppose. I look down at the white rose in my hand, and you promise I'll be safe in the house as long as you're with me? Oh, you have nothing to be worried about, he answers with a smirk. Okay then, I guess it's settled. I'll meet you at the mansion tomorrow afternoon. Alright. I know it's just a fan fiction, but it's so sweet and so cute to have Dark being so soft to someone significant. Oh my god, my shirt's up. Why is it up? Oh no. Okay, I am very sorry about that. I did not mean for that to be on camera. Anyway. Yeah. I'm gonna end the stream now. We'll be on chapter 13 the next time. I don't know if people really want to watch this, me reading this fanfiction, but it's okay because I really enjoy reading it, and I hope you guys actually do. But yeah, you know, it's really nice to see Dark really soft for someone he cares about. Oh, and canon-wise, you don't actually see that in the Darkiplier TV show. But if the headcanon is true, which I hope it is, I hope we have the soft side for the district attorney. It'd be really sweet. It really would. Anyway, I hope everyone has a good night, good afternoon, or good morning for however long they watch this or something. I will be seeing you guys in their time. I will stream. I don't know if it'll be tomorrow or the next day. But I hope you enjoyed this live stream or video whichever time you're watching it. So thank you. Excuse me. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in, and I really appreciate you guys joining the stream and showing support and enjoying the content I created. Anyway,